Ideal Protein is a doctor-designed, coach-led ketogenic weight loss protocol that uses food as medicine to empower you to lose weight and live your healthiest life.
And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys out there joining us today. This is Group Therapy. It's the time of the week when I get to sit down with my fellow editors and we get to talk about everything that's going on in Livingston Parish. We're going to let them introduce themselves real quick. We're going to start on the viewer's right.
Hey, this is David Gray, news writer with the Livingston Parish News.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
David nailed it this morning.
Yeah, I know. I almost got a little stumbled up there, but
Oh,
we're good.
You did well. You did well.
I have trouble with left and right.
That's why I usually try to hold up my hands.
You're helping me out.
So I
man.
can direct you guys. So today, plenty to talk about. We're going to be moving at a steady and crisp pace. First and foremost, going to be talking about some good news here in the city of Denham. Of course, Denham Elementary has been completed. Those kids are going to school there starting this semester. We, of course, are going to miss our neighbors. They have been slowly but steadily dismantling those T buildings that were next to the Livingston Parish News on Hatchell Lane and sending those off to other campuses who need them. Is it campuses or campusi? It's campuses, isn't it?
Campuses,
Yes, okay.
Yep.
I never know. You know, octopus, octopi, whatever. The English language is tragic. At any rate, so there's two pieces of interesting news. First and foremost, because of sort of the blitz to get into Denham Springs Elementary, I haven't really had a time for Community Day. That's coming up. So, David, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that is coming up this Saturday, February 12th at 10 a.m. That's when they will have a ribbon cutting ceremony. There will be elected officials speaking there. Don't really know which officials will be there for certain. I know Mr. Murphy, the superintendent, he really wanted some of the key players involved who have been there throughout this whole process, such as Congressman Garrett Graves, Buddy Mincy Jr., J. Rogers Pope. I know Mr. Mincy and Mr. Pope are supposed to be there. Don't really know about the other people. I know he said he even sent out invitations all the way up to the governor's office, and I believe Governor Edwards was there for the demolition of the school. When that was it back in 2018, I believe.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so there's a chance. Don't really know who's going to be there. I guess they're not sending that information out, but that we'll see who's going to be there. But yeah, this is just the public's chance to see the school for the first time. Like you said, it opened in January after a 2-year rebuild, and the teachers and students have been able to see it now. They've been there for a few weeks, and now they're going to. Now this is the community's chance to see it. So you'll have so parents can see where their kids might be able to go one day, and I have a feeling they'll be pretty happy when they go in there.
Yes, it's a beautiful school, a beautiful campus. It's very impressive, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking about Denham Elementary, there was a few years ago, a lady who had been a staple in the Denham Springs education scene retired, and I believe it was just last year she passed away. The school board got together with her family and decided to name a wing of the new Denham Springs Elementary after her because she was a cornerstone.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was Miss Sarah Scott. She passed away last month. I think that's what you meant. Yeah. It was just last month, January 19th, I believe. Miss Sarah Scott, who taught at Denham Elementary for 47 years. She taught in total, she taught 50 years. The first 3 years at West Livingston High, which was the former all-black school before integration took hold in the 1970s. And so she after integration, she moved to Denham Elementary and never left until she retired in 2018. And like I said, she passed away last month. And the school board, in honor of her, this was kind of something that the administrators at Denham Elementary thought of, and then they talked to the 3 school board members for the Denham area, and they were all on board. So they will be naming the early childhood wing the Sarah Scott Early Childhood Wing, and that'll cover grades pre-K and kindergarten, I believe, and kindergarten is what Sarah Scott taught mostly since 1981, I believe she taught kindergarten. So this is just kind of a lasting, enduring reminder of all the stuff that she did for the school system. And it was I was talking with the family that at the school board meeting because they attended, and a lot of times we don't get to write stories that are positive or, stories that make us feel good. But this was because I've written a lot of stories with Miss Scott, all the stuff that she did. This was one of those stories that, you feel good writing, and, you get really happy when you see that someone who had this impact is going to be honored in such a way. Her name will be there forever. So, I mean, that's just kind of cool to think about, especially a school board that, for years, just shows the changing in racial relationships, because this is a woman who for years was denied her chance to move up in the school system. But, here was the school board voting to have her name be on a building forever. So just, I don't know, kind of a cool full circle thing.
Sure, and it's a legacy deal.
Yeah.
She persevered. She rose in the ranks, and I mean, now she's going to have a lasting legacy at Denham Springs Elementary. I think it's fitting. Of course, it's my opinion, but I do believe that it is fitting. So we're going to jump over to Rob real quick, staying in the Denham Springs area, and y'all give Rob a little break here. It's crossover season, as we like to say here in sports. Softball and baseball and track are getting set to go, and so, but still, we're in the middle of basketball and soccer. So we're going to be talking about Denham Springs soccer first and foremost. Crazy intense win in OT over Santa Maula last week. We're gonna get your input on that, and they will be playing Catholic tonight at home. Correct?
Oh, they've got Alexandria.
Oh, excuse me.
It would be possibly Catholic if they win.
Gotcha.
Possibly. So no, it's Alexandria tonight at 6:00. Yellow Jacket Stadium. Raising Canes is giving out buy one get one free vouchers. McHugh said he might show up.
Thanks for that.
So, just letting you know. No, it's and this will. David and I were talking. This will probably be the last game in the last soccer match in the current configuration of Yellow Jacket Stadium.
Last game of any kind.
Or of it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. So this would be it. So they're trying to pack it up and get a send off there, nice send off for every for the stadium and for the guys tonight. What they're trying to do, but they're coming off a really intense 2-1 overtime win over Santa Maula, and it's one of those things where you get there and you go through the first half and you're just looking the way it's going. The one goal could be the one goal.
Sure.
The way it's going, Santa Maula got one, it's kind of late, and then they're in kind of stoppage time there, and they get a penalty kick from Bayo to Clay Fontenot, and Clay's just right in front of the net and just puts it away. So they go to overtime, and Axel Agarcia gets the game winner for them. But it was when I talked with Coach Hilliard after, I talked with him on Monday, just kind of, you go through a game like that, and there's really no time to rest. You're in the playoffs, but he was telling me you could tell the toll it kind of took on the guys, because normally they're on the ride home, and there's after win they're cutting up, and there's normally some singing, and he said rapping. He goes, it was pretty quiet, to the point of where, I asked him about it, and he said some of the guys told him they went home and went to bed, didn't even shower, just went straight to bed. So it's going to be interesting to see how you get back up, for tonight. And he said that there's been plenty of ice baths and things like that. But like we talked about, it's one of those things where at this point in the season, nobody's 100% healthy. You just kind of soldier on through and get it done. But it's going to be interesting to see. He said Alexandra has a really similar style, so he's expecting a really good matchup this evening.
And the next step would be Hammond. For the state tournament?
They would play the semifinal, would be on the road again. It'd be just championships in Hammond at Strawberry Stadium. So
gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to come back to you in just a second, because we're going. We've got lots to talk about with regard to French Settlement. French Settlement played Springfield last night in basketball, girls and boys. Correct?
Yes, correct.
So we'll talk about that in a second. But first, we're going to jump back over to David to talk about French Settlement on the news side. Unfortunately, while we talked about good news in Denham, it's a bit of a good news, bad news situation in the news side for French Settlement. Let's first and foremost, let's lead with the good. They did find former police chief Harry Brignac, correct?
Correct. Yes, he was. He went missing went missing earlier last week, and the Village of French Settlement on their Facebook page, they were the first ones to put the alert out. It was a joint search between the French Settlement Police Department and Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Spoke with Mr. Harry's daughter, and at the time they didn't have anything except for he had left his phone and left a note at the house, and then took off in his truck, and wasn't seen again. Wasn't seen again in French Settlement. So later that day, his truck was spotted on the western side of the state, and it was believed that he was going to Texas. And then, so 2 days after he was found missing, or after he went missing, excuse me, state police put out a silver alert for him, and they also put out the alert there because apparently Mr. Brignett has some medication that he really needed to be taking. Could be in imminent danger, they said. So, but luckily, like you said, yes, he was found about 2 days after he first went missing. He was found in the Lake Charles area by state troopers. So that ended up as well as, I guess, it as hoped for by the family.
Right. So, good news there that he was found. Unfortunately, on the bad news side, last week there was a major accident in the French Settlement area. Came to find out not long after that it was unfortunately a student at the high school, correct?
Yes, it was a 19-year-old senior, female senior. She was the victim. It was a 2-car crash. They haven't released any other details about what caused the crash, other than it was a 2-car crash, and there was another victim was transported to the hospital with some serious injuries, but believed to make a recovery from those injuries. But the victim's name was Emma Sanchez. She was a 19-year-old student. I talked to one family friend who set up a GoFundMe for Emma's mother and sister, and so far, I mean, the last I checked a few days ago, had raised over $18,000, I believe. Just kind of help the mother with help with funeral costs, that sort of thing. The funeral was yesterday, I believe. And talking to this family friend, Emma was just described as a very artistic girl with a beautiful soul. That's the words that she used. So yeah, the wreck was on Highway 16, less than a mile from campus. Like I said, don't really know the details of what exactly caused it, who was in the wrong, or if anyone was in the wrong. It just just a freak thing. But I know that caused there was a bunch of traffic that morning in front of the school. I mean, like I said, it was right at the time of school traffic hour around 7:30 that morning. So I know one of the victims was airlifted to the hospital, but yeah, just a tragic situation. I know, and Mr. Murphy mentioned that during the school board meeting, just to ask everyone to keep the French Settlement community in their thoughts and prayers. Like I said, that was right after the chief went missing. So French Settlement, it was just a hard week for that community.
Very difficult, but at least one situation did get resolved. Yeah. So that silver lining, I guess you can say. Because we're probably not going to be able to get it in print before the hearing happens, I do want you to give a brief comment on the Cynthia Perkins. I guess you call it an appeal.
Or filed a motion. A motion. Cynthia Perkins, the former school teacher who was arrested with her ex-husband Dennis Perkins, a former sheriff's lieutenant. They face 150 charges. Most of them are sex crimes. Well, her trial was supposed to start on February 14th with jury selection. Her attorney, James Spokes, he filed a motion on Tuesday to have that trial moved out of Livingston Parish, citing the extraordinary media publicity and coverage that the case has received. We've been reporting on this, since August of 2019. October of 2019 when they were first arrested. And like I said, they faced together 150 counts of various charges, and her trial was supposed to start on Monday. So we will see, what the judge rules on that. But yeah, so weren't able to get that in time for the print edition because that came after we had already submitted our pages. But yeah, we will know next week whether or not that trial will stay or move from Livingston Parish.
And I believe that's Monday, correct?
Yes.
All right. David, we'll be back with you with one last thing real quick. But first, I want to keep it in French Settlement. Going to talk about the basketball games.
Yeah, I went last night. Springfield and Prince Settlement. Both of these teams on the boys and girls side have been pretty highly ranked in the power ratings all season long. And in the girls game, it's back and forth. They were tied at halftime, and then Prince Settlement gets a little run right there to start the fourth quarter. Stella Allison scored 6 points during this run to kind of get them going, and then Grayson Sibley also helped out on the inside. She finished with 24 points. But Prince Settlement winds up winning this girls' game 56-45. Coach Daniel Martin, said this was probably their biggest win of the year, being that Springfield had beaten them twice already this season. And this is kind of you're trying to get your teams to a point where they're down to I think they have 2 games left. The girls for Springfield have 1. So you're in this last week of the season for the girls, trying to solidify things for your teams. And, Coach Dreyer, in talking to him, he just felt like in the past month, they probably haven't played their best ball. And he also reiterated that, they had some illnesses during that span, but he'd like them to play better. In the boys' game, Prince Settlement winds up winning that one. I thought the biggest thing here was that Prince Settlement loses, probably their 2 best players, in Edward Allison and Draven Smith. Each of them get 2 fouls right in the first quarter, so they have to kind of go to the bench there. And one of the guys who kind of steps up is Maxwell Allison, who's Edward's brother. We talked about the Allisons before. He kind of steps up, and Will McMorris, who's a senior on senior night, he kind of gets in charge of what's going on there with those guys, and kind of guides them, I guess. And you kind of see there's some depth there that they can use, and it worked to their advantage the other night, and they're able to get a win last night, which also helps them in these power rankings and power points as they get closer to it. So that's what we're looking at. I also wanted to mention this. Coach Landon Dubois just sent me a text. Holden's girls won another district championship. That's 25.
Cool. Wow.
In a row. So you've got they won more district championships. These kids weren't even alive when this streak started. But
what a stat!
I just thought that was he just texted me, so I haven't written that up yet. So that'll be out later on today.
Speaking of legacy, they're keeping it going.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I gotta find that. I want to say he said they were 55-1 in that span in district games. They came into into the receiving room, and their parents were like, "You have to win. You got to win. You got to win." Yeah. Let me see. Let me make sure. Let's see. Beat Mount Herman, 25th straight district title, 55-1 in district since 2012.
Cool. Wow.
That's an unbelievable stat.
A very unbelievable stat. So congratulations to those ladies, the Lady Rockets.
And the boys wrapped up their district title.
And congratulations
on Friday, and
to the gentlemen
Rockets. That's back to back for them. So
congratulations to them. So we are heading into the postseason for basketball. Those final games will be wrapped up this week.
It's I believe the girls will wrap up this week, and the guys will wrap up next week.
So we'll be expecting pairings coming out pretty soon too. Speaking of postseason, last thing from you, Rob, the state tournament for wrestling is coming up.
Yes, and I've got these lists here, and I'm just going to touch on them. Coach Collier from Live Oak sent me. They have qualified. They filled out all 14 weight classes for Live Oak, which is a good deal for them. At 145, Raiden Ingram is going to be the first seed. At 106, Lathan Hershey's going to be the 4th seed. And at 138, Andrew Lusby is going to be the 6th seed. That's to kind of lead up their group. And for Walker, they've got a group, and Kyle Karcher at 113. He's the 8th seed in the weight class, and is the first seeded wrestler in Walker history in the state tournament and program history. So they'll get ready. That'll be starting this weekend.
So we will be on the lookout for those updates as they come. Last but certainly not least, we're going to return to David just to talk real briefly to wrap this up about sales tax, which continues to increase.
Yes, people are spending money.
Which is great.
That's quick.
Yeah. Straight into the point, folks.
Yes, there we go. No, it's up. Sales tax collections were up 25% in January 2022 compared to January 2021. God, that's a lot of 20s. But But yeah, so I mean that's basically been the story of this fiscal year. Is just every month is outpacing the previous month, and I believe total the the parish is up 15% through this fiscal year compared to this same time last year. So, and we'll have more. I'm sure tomorrow is the meeting of the Livingston Economic Council, so I'm sure they'll be mentioning that during the meeting. We talked about it before. Mr. Willie Graves is going to be honored with the Bob Easley Award there, but I'm sure David Bennett will have a bigger deep dive on, I guess, the economic climate of Livingston Parish right now, and sales tax will be included in that.
So we'll be looking forward to that report as well. So that's it.
That's it.
We 20 minutes, not too bad. So let's check out here. We're going to start on the viewers left.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And this is David Gray, news writer with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Want to let everybody know that we will have school board member Dr. Devin Gregoire in the studio on Friday morning. We will be getting that out Friday afternoon. He's going to be talking about the tax proposal in Albany for those schools. And then we will be sitting down, it looks like next week, with the superintendent. So we'll have lots of school podcasts coming up. We appreciate you guys one last time joining us for this show. This is Group Therapy. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. One last time, I love to say it because we do appreciate it. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a great one.